Good morning, good morning. It's 5 a.m. Monday, September 15th. Today's day 77 on my weight loss journey. Um, yeah, I know it's dark as heck out here, man. Can't see nothing. Right here at the park. I just turned the lights on. We're at the darkest corner of the thing anyway. Yes, and I know ain't nobody in the lobby, ain't nobody listening, but the whole point of doing this is so I got someone to talk to, meaning myself, I guess you could say. So I'm just gonna talk. It's Monday. Took the weekend off, got some rest. Um, I don't know. Still did a little work. Yesterday, I don't know, I was up early yesterday. Feeling good. Not gonna lie, these last few weeks, I've been feeling some kind of way, especially since I peaked on my weight loss. The beginning, it's all water weight, which I knew. It's a little easier to lose. Then you hit your peak, then you got all the dense fat. It's a little harder. And then like with strength training, I can only push as hard as I can go. Good morning, good morning. And yeah, see, people just they come and go. It's so dark out here, you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy, which I don't blame people. But I'm still gonna stay on and go live and talk, and you know what I mean? It's like a therapy for me. I can go ahead and let out what I'm thinking. I can say what I'm thinking out loud. There you go. That makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, so I don't know. It's just like, I just keep on going. I know it's dark out here. I know nobody wants to watch the dark screen and some old guy in the back in the shadows. But I'm just doing this for some therapy for myself. Give me something to be able to speak my thoughts out loud, you know what I mean? In the morning. It's 5 a.m. Monday. Out here at the park doing laps. I don't know if you can see. Got some lights on. I can turn those on. They're like on a timer. I turn those on. It gives me a little light. But a lot of out in this outer edge, just barely see anything. But I don't know. I like to go live because it gives me. It's like therapy, I guess. I know a lot of times you guys don't stick around. You just come and go. People click in, click out. And most of the time I'm only talking to myself, but it's still like therapy, you know what I'm saying? I get to say what's on my mind and get it off my chest and stuff, You know. But I appreciate y'all clicking in. Good morning. It's Monday morning. A lot of y'all getting up, getting ready for school, getting ready for work. Just getting up for the day. I hope y'all have a blessed day, man. I hope everything turns out good for y'all today. For me, it's all about my routine. I'm gonna put 5,000 steps in this morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Cloud Surfer. I appreciate you. Hey, I got you. Subscribe. Anybody subscribes, man, I definitely subscribe back, and I get you some watch time hours in too. I know how it feels, you know what I mean? Small channels, it's hard being a small channel. It's hard, it's a struggle, That's another thing that's been on my mind lately, to be honest with you. Good morning, Never Again. It's like, I've only been doing this, probably about 3 months. I just hit 200 subscribers. That's sort of exciting. But, you go through those stages. I hear a lot of people talk about how you go through those stages, how you just want to give up and quit, you know what I mean? I think I was going through that last week. It hit me pretty hard. But I don't know, I'm just gonna keep doing it because, obviously I want to grow a channel, I want to get there, but it also gives me a purpose, you know what I mean? During my weight loss journey, I can document my weight loss journey, and it gives me something to do on my off time too. Keep my mind busy, keep me going, all the editing and everything. Because if you're already running a channel, you already know, Jesus, the time you put into the edits and the videos. It's a lot of time. I never knew it was this hard. But yeah, I appreciate any likes and subscribes out there. If y'all can give me before y'all take off, I appreciate you. Just trying to grow the channel. You too, Icy. I appreciate you. You too. I appreciate the sub. You have a great day. Yeah, it's so far so good. My first 67 days, I lost 47 pounds. Hey, Alec, how you doing? I appreciate you, Alec. 47 pounds down so far from 330 pounds. I got a question for y'all out there. It's a serious question, and it's something that it's been on my mind for a whole week, and I've actually talked to a few people about it that could actually help me with this problem, with this thing. I'm 52 years old. Today's day 77. I've already peaked on my weight loss as far as burning water weight and stuff like that. So now it's all dense fat, so it's a lot harder. And on my strength training, I'm doing pretty good, but I'm pretty much maxed at that too right now. I've been thinking about using some other stuff, if you know what I mean. Some gear, the juice, you know what I'm saying? What are y'all thoughts on that? I'm not gonna lie, it sort of excites me to want to do it, but then it also scares me to want to do it. I've never done it before, so, and I did do research, There's so much dangers to the good of it, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. But I got a guy coming over today, an old friend of mine. He's in the bodybuilding and stuff, and he's gonna sit down and have a talk with me about it. But I'm like right there. I'm probably like 70-80% to where I want to do it. You know what I mean? Is it worth doing? You know what I mean? Is it? I don't know. I just don't want. Because you get a lot of guys. Yeah, Charlie Kirk, bro. That's sad, man. I've been watching some of his videos, and for me, about him, about Charlie Kirk, the biggest thing for me about him that I've always loved about him was his faith in God. You know what I mean? For me, like I've always surfed, he obviously I followed him. He was one of my people I followed, but his faith in God is what really connected me with him. Yeah, I'm on the testosterone. I've been on the testosterone with my primary doctor, legit, for this November it'd be 2 years. And I'm at pretty much a max level of what a doctor could give you. I don't know what it's called, 200, was that 1 cc or 1 C or 200 milliliters? I don't know what it's called, the shot a week. But in 2 years, obviously, as a man, it's helped downstairs. That it did. It did help downstairs. Not 100%. Just being honest with y'all. Not giving you too much information. Just being real. I ain't 100% downstairs. I'm a fat guy. That's one of the fat guy problems you get, downstairs. You know what I'm saying? But I'd say about 70% helped. And the only thing as far as as far as muscle goes, being on the testosterone from the doctor it's helped. I see. It's helped maintain muscle. Like, I would go to the gym, and I'm a big guy, so I like heavy weight. But then if I missed the gym for like 2 weeks, my arms, muscles would just fade away. But I noticed being on the testosterone that I could be out for months and it wouldn't, I don't know how to say it, like the muscles wouldn't shrink, but they wouldn't grow, but they would maintain. Does that make sense? Like they would just hold on being on the testosterone. But the stuff I want to get on it's going to help me with fat burning, helping me to burn the fat, and then also helping me to put on muscle. Because I'm doing 16, 17,000 steps a day right now. And And then the 1 hour strength training I do at 9:30. And then my diet is so strict. I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired. You know, it's starting to take a toll, you know what I mean? It's like I feel like I need a little help. I know it sounds weak, sounds like I'm making excuses, but I don't know, I'm just being honest. I just don't want to give up, you know what I mean? I just don't want to give up. It's like just the thought of knowing that it's possible to get that help keeps me wanting to keep pushing. I don't know, does that make sense? But I don't know, it's just how I feel. I just want to keep going. I don't want to give up. Let's see. Yeah, the bet, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this guy here I've known since we were kids, and he's been doing this stuff probably 30 years or longer. And out of all the people that I've known that are on this stuff, he's the only one I can say that's still going and hasn't had a problem. Like I know guys, man, had to have liver transplants, kidney failure, all kind of stuff. Being on that stuff, you know. That's one of the things that scare me. What'd you say? Never as much. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Never again. I tell a lot of people the same thing. A lot of people say, "No, you have to drink. You have to drink all this water." I'm like, the whole point is is burning and sweating it out. You know, it's water, it's moisture. It's just, why would I sweat out a gallon of water and then just drink a gallon of water again, right? I mean, yeah, that's what I do. Never. Like right now, I don't even have water on me. I mean, I got an emergency bottle that's in the truck, but I sip. Like in a whole day, I might drink three to four 20-ounce bottles a day, and I always put a electrolyte in them. But yeah, I try not to overdo it with the water. I mean, I try not to drink too much, but like if I get headaches from being dehydrated, like I'll feel it, and then I'll go ahead and do it. Oh yeah. Yeah, once a day, that's what I'm doing. Yep. Never again. Yeah. We're on the same page. We definitely on the same page. That's what I'm doing. Once a day, high protein, lots of scrambled eggs, lots of chicken breasts. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah, the liver. Yeah. One guy, JJ, he had to have a liver transplant. Yeah. And then there was another guy, two other guys in the gym, older guys. They had to have they had kidney failure. But I also heard, you know, yeah, I'm on the multivitamins. My buddy that's coming over today, he's gonna tell me some other vitamins I need to start taking, he said. Let me tell you what, Never. You sure we ain't twins or something? Let me tell you what, I love my lemon water and the salt. I'm telling you, he's saying everything I'm doing. Hey, Noah, good morning. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, the detox, that's something I'm looking into right now. Wormwood, okay. Yeah, that's something I'm trying to look into. A couple people told me about I need to do. Is what's it called, like a cleanse? Yeah. Someone told me I need to do one of those. Oh. I'll tell you what, I don't know where y'all at. I'm down here in Florida. Yeah, and the oranges. Yeah, I love it. The zest, yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, we got a lot in common. I call you man because I don't know whether you're a man or woman, so I'm just assuming you're a man. But yeah, we got a lot in common. I love that too, man. I put lemon on everything I eat. I don't care what it is. I squeeze the lemon on top of everything. And I love the zest, whatever, is that what it's called? The skin where you scrape it off. I love that. South Detroit? No way. Come on, Never. Are you serious? I was born in Pontiac. Yeah, we got a lot in common, man. That's funny shit. Yeah, yeah, Florida. But I woke up this morning and I ride with my windows down. It's a little chilly this morning. When it gets in the 60s, for us down here, it gets cold. I've been down here a long time. I was born up in Pontiac, Michigan, but man, I've been down here a long time. And yeah, I got up this morning. It was 67, man. I'm driving down the road and that cold air coming through the window. I was freezing. Signing. Yeah. Yeah. Damn, I'm telling you, never. We definitely think alike. Yeah, that's one thing I don't do. I hate ice cold water, stuff like that. I always got like room temperature. Yeah. Tennessee, born and raised. Yeah. What's that called? My mom used to love. We used to always go to Ruby Falls, Tennessee. My mom always loved it over there. Every once in a while, Flavor, I pee on my poop. Sometimes I poop on my pee. We always got to have that one guy in the lobby. I mean, you got to have him to break up the monotony. You know what I mean? There you go. I used to have another guy. I'm surprised he ain't showed up yet. His name is Blitz. He usually gets in the lobby, man. He's pretty funny, too. Yeah. Yeah. These sprinklers on in the morning. I seem to always get lucky. They're going around. They're never coming at me. So far, so good. Oh, yeah, man. Flavor Flav. Love you, bro. I mean, how can you not laugh? You're Flavor Flav. You're part of my Gen X. Yeah, my mom loved it out there. I think my family back in the days, they had like, I think it was like 87 acres, something like that. Used to butt up to like the state property. And we used to go out there on vacations when we were young. I've been pretty much all over. I've been all up and down the East Coast. I've been all up and down the Midwest. The only place I've never been is over on the West Coast. But not to disrespect any of y'all in the lobby if you're from the West Coast, but the West Coast pretty weird. The East Coast, they're crazy. But the West Coast, they're a little weird. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Good morning, Dragon King. I mean, that's the cool thing, though. New Zealand, yeah. That's a lot. Like, you get a lot of people, like, from outside the country. Like, I don't know how Dragon King, I don't know if he's here or if he's in New Zealand. And, people think America is all, it's just one country, which it is, but they think we're all the same. Man, if you ever get out and you travel the country, it's so different. North, south, east, west, Midwest, languages, accents, culture. I mean, America's it's just all mixed up. Never going back. That bad, huh? Allah Akbar. I hear you, Hussein. Yeah. That's like me. I've always loved culture, man. One thing I never get into is religion and politics. You know what I'm saying? I don't get into religion and politics because that's the only thing that separates us. You know what I mean? And tries to divide. To me, to each their own. You know what I mean? To each their own. As long as you don't push it on nobody else. You know what I mean? To me, we're all people, and I love culture, man. I love different languages, food, the musics, the women. I think it's just beautiful. I'm trying, Hussein. I'm trying. It's okay. We got another guy in here. He's a joker, too. It's all good. Ain't nothing wrong with some laughs. We need some people in here. We gotta get some laughs. This early in the morning, we gotta get the laughing. I tell you, this is the best lobby I've had so far, man. You guys, you group of guys right now, man, is the best lobby I've had in here so far. I mean, I've had 2 or 3 regulars that usually get in and we have conversations, but as far as laughing and getting along and everything, this has been a pretty good time. It's 5 a.m. over here. I'm in Florida. DJ Sully, you getting some sleep or you can't sleep? Can't sleep, DJ Sully? Join us for a minute. Maybe this will put you to bed. Yeah. Where you at, Hussein? 2 a.m. Where you at, over on West Coast, Sully? Yeah. All right, Hussein. Well, so how do I greet you, Hussein? It's how's it go? Salam alaikum. Did I say it right? I didn't mess it up, did I? Yeah, a lot of times I get, I was having these, I used to get a lot of guys from Pakistan used to get in all the time, in India. Used to get a lot of them always jumping in. I don't know why, I always kick over there. Thanks, Sully, I appreciate you, brother. Hey, Hussein, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, man. Help me grow. You gotta get this channel growing. Gotta get me monetized so I can start traveling the world. Let this old man start making some extra money and maybe I can get to traveling. I hear you, Icy. You know, it's funny. You know, I get on these lives and it's just me. I'm just being me, a real person, you know, and I talk just, you know, just straight up. And, you know, I get very little action. And then, you know, I jump on some lives. I see some people, you know, because I try to do other lives, help other people out, smaller channels. I see some of these kids, man, they'll set their camera up on their desk or something in their room, and then they'll just sit in a rocking chair or something with the music on and just sit there looking at the ceiling. And then there's like 1,000 people in there watching. It's like, I don't understand, man. It's just, it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I had a guy the other day, I asked everybody, I was like, man, how come nobody wants to watch me? You know what I'm saying? I'm being real, you know, it's just a real conversation. The guy was like, you need to be more entertaining. I said, man, I ain't gonna be your fucking monkey. That's the last thing I'm gonna do is be your monkey. I ain't about to jump around and stuff and act a fool. I'm just gonna be me. You know, love me for me. I'm just the old guy trying to earn another 20 years of life. That's it. And God willing, I'm gonna get it. So I ain't gonna give up. I'm gonna keep pushing. But that's one of my goals, though. My goal is to lose this weight, get healthy, and then I want to do some traveling. You know, all my kids are grown now. They're all left the house. I was a single father for like 20 years. They're grown now, they're out. And I've been single for like 5 years now. Yeah. All right, let me hear it. Yeah. Yeah, Dollar, I'm walking. I'm getting my 5,000 steps in for the morning, 5 a.m. out here in Central Florida. Get my 5,000 steps in, and then I'll come back out in the afternoon, do another 5,000. And then I'll come back out in the evening, do another 5,000. I've been averaging 15 to 17,000 steps a day. Yeah, I like doing them in the morning because I was like filming, you know, like to do for my YouTube channel, but it's just so dark and gloomy for the videos. I don't do it no more, so I just do lives in the morning now. And then what I'll do is I just record like my strength training and then like an afternoon, daytime walk. Because a lot of times I go back in the trails. You know, we got wild trails back here. Pretty nice though, beautiful back there. And I like filming back there. It's really beautiful. You can't see right now. Good morning, Rose. I hear you. I hear you, Rose. Good morning, Roger. How you doing? I mean, you can't see right now, but like on three sides of me is all cow pasture. I'm in a small town, man. I mean, I'm small. We went yesterday, we had to ride to get some tires, right? And it was about, I don't know, about an hour and a half drive, me and my son. And just to get there, we went through, I think, 3 or 4 small towns. When I say small towns, not like mine, like they had street lights, you know what I'm saying? We don't got street lights. We don't even got a police force. We ain't got none of that. They all come from the next town over. Just to get to the hospital is an hour drive. To get to the nearest mall, that's an hour drive. I mean, pretty much everything's 45 minutes to an hour away. You know, the only thing we do got coming to America, that's funny. How you doing, Frank? But yeah, everything's a little bit of ways. Good morning, Six. I appreciate you. Yeah, but you know, like I said, you know, I pretty much lived till I was like 14, 15 up north in the big cities. Like I was born in Pontiac, Michigan, but I was raised in North Philly in the 70s and 80s. If you know Gen X, you know about the 70s and 80s. You know, before I was 15 years old, growing up in North Philly, I was shot in the thigh, multiple stab wounds. I got one stab wound, probably 16 inches long. More fights than I even want to remember, all before 15 years old. And I ran away. I just had to get out of there, man. My parents, you know, their family was all there, my dad's, and they didn't want to leave, you know. We were surrounded by all that culture, you know what I mean? And I knew that culture was gonna end me one day. So I went and borrowed a car. You know what I mean? I went and borrowed a car at 15 and I took off and I just left. I came down to Florida with my mom's family and I've been down here ever since. I ain't never been back to Philly since. Yeah, I can't do the cities no more. I would never go back. My kids ask me all the time when I'm gonna take them to see what my home was like and stuff, but nah, I would never go back. Yeah. Good morning, Gaddis. Yeah, you know, I had to get out, but I got out and never been back since. And as far as Michigan goes, like, you know, I grew up out there. You know, I was out there, Detroit, Pontiac, Flint area back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. You know, a lot of these kids today, they think they got it hard. You know, it's because you got social media. Social media shows you the few incidences that you see. But you know, back in the 80s, our high schools had metal detectors. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we had metal detectors. I mean, it was drive-by shootings every day. You name it, it was happening back then. 10 times worse than it is now. These kids today don't understand. Social media it blows everything up. And you know, you just can't believe nothing on there no more. Nah, it was never returned. I actually broke down I'll tell you about that. You know, I got lucky, man. God was with me. You know, I was driving far as I could get, and it finally broke down on the highway. And I just slept there in the car. You know, I didn't know what to do. And this tow truck driver come, he pulled up behind me, and he come out. He was a young black guy. And he come out, and he see me in there, and he knew something was up. So he asked me, and I told him what happened and why I did it and stuff. And he took the car, he put it on the thing, and he put me in, and he drove me. And that was the next state over. We was in Georgia. He drove me from Georgia all the way to Florida, probably 4-hour drive one way, all the way to my granny's house and dropped me off. He was cool as heck, man. He was cool as heck. Yeah. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. It was an old car. It was like, you wouldn't even believe what kind of car it was. Mind you, this was back in what, the 80s? It was, you remember those old Valari station wagons? It was cream colored. It was a 4-door Volare station wagon. I'm surprised that thing even got anywhere. Good night. Is that Sully? Yeah, it's Sully. Good night, Sully. Take care. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do. There's a lot of these stories, like that story, I've never even told my kids that one. You know? My kids, man, you know, when I grew up, you know, Gen X, we know, especially when you grew up in the cities, you always had to have those name brand sneakers, name brand clothes. If not, you got picked on at school and everything. You know, I raised my kids down here in Florida. Walmart clothes, Walmart shoes, you know, it's, you know, no one ever said anything. That's just how it was down here, you know, and they grow up. I never knew, though, I'd have redneck kids. You know, my kids are country. My sons are country as heck. Totally different than I was when I was their ages. But it's a good thing, you know what I mean? It's a good thing. Yeah. Yeah, when I think about it, I laugh. It was a crazy world back then, you know. Like you said, Frank, you know, I wouldn't say I regret. I mean, you know, I give you an idea. I ain't gonna say no names or nothing, but, you know, I heard somebody a long time ago, and even to this day, I don't think a year goes by since then, since the last 20 years, since I don't want to say I changed, I don't know, 20 years ago. Yeah, since I become a single father, sort of changed me, and I've been trying to do right, do good, walk a straight line. But there ain't a year goes by that I don't keep in touch with this one girl. Man, I always apologize. And she always tells me, why you keep apologizing? You ain't got to apologize. You already apologized. You ain't got to keep that. I'm like, I don't know. It's just, you know, it just stays on your mind, you know what I mean? The things we do in life, especially as we get older. I notice as I'm getting older, you know, you start, I don't know what the word is. Was that reminiscing? Thinking back? You start thinking about everything that went on back then. I don't know. Would it be regrets? I don't know. I guess. I don't know. But I just can't regret the things I've done in life, because if I did, I wouldn't have my beautiful children I had today. You know, if life didn't, you know, which I don't know, you know, for sure, but, you know, I wouldn't change anything, you know what I mean? Because if I changed anything, then I wouldn't have my kids I have today, you know? And my kids are my world. They've always been my world, you know what I mean? They're what keeps me going. Even though they're all older and out living their own lives and don't want to take their dad to the beach, but I can't even get them to take me to the beach. I used to take them kids to the beach every weekend. We'd be packed up, loaded, headed to the beach. And Dad be the one having to carry everything to the beach, you know? You think they appreciate that? Nah. Nah. Seriously, Frank? Good question. I'll tell you, I don't share this too much, but I'll go ahead and share this with you guys. You know, like I told you, I've been a single father for 20 years. Well, I was up in Michigan for 12 years. And I went there originally just for work. And then I met this lady. We got together. I don't know if you say we fell in love. I don't know what it was, infatuation, love, whatever. But we got married, right? And because I married her, I stayed there for 12 years. And we had, at the time, it was right at 9/11. We had a 3-year-old, and the baby was like 9 months old. So, no, he was 2 years old, and we just had the baby. So at 9/11, I made a deal with her. I said, look, I ain't been with my, hey, Miss Lily. I said, I ain't been with my family in over 12 years. You know, 9/11 scared the dog out of me, you know what I mean? It made me think, you know, and I wanted to see my mom. So I made a deal from a year from that day that we were gonna move to Florida. And I did it, you know what I mean? I worked my butt off, saved money, got everything together. And a year later, I think it was like September 8th or 9th, we moved to Florida. She's never left the state. Like, she was from Michigan, never left Michigan, never. So we moved to Florida. And then, yeah, I love Miss Lily. Miss Lily been with me for a long time. She's been with me from the beginning. And we moved to Florida. And when we moved to Florida, the babies were 3 years old and 11 months old, okay? We got here, we was able to buy a house, everything was good. Both started working, we had cars, everything was good. But like I said, she's never left home. So 2 months in, we usually always take the kids to the daycare together. We'll drive together, drop the kids off at daycare, and then we'll come back to the house, and then she'll take her car, I'll take mine, we go to work. Well, I noticed something was on her mind. So I said, you want to talk about something? And she was like, yeah. And these were her exact words, okay? I'll never forget. She said, and this was almost 25 years ago, okay? She said, I don't want to be a mother. I don't want to be a wife. She says, when I want to get up and go, I don't want to have to worry about where the children are, what they're doing, or have to answer to my husband. She goes, when I want to get up and go, I want to go. I said, okay. So what do you want to do? She says, I want to leave. So in my mind, I'm thinking, she's homesick. Maybe just give her some time, let her go home, and maybe she'll turn around, right? And I thought she was going to take the kids. You know what I mean? She packed her clothes. She packed her clothes, all her Coach purses, all her jewelry and stuff, and took her new car that I got her. And she left me with the kids. Baby was 3 years old, and the other one was 11 months old. And I think that was my turning point, Frank, in life. Hello, RJ. And I've raised my kids ever since by myself. I mean, I've had a few ladies in and out, but I guess a lot of single moms probably experience the same thing. It comes to a point where they try to make you choose between them and the kids. And, I've always chose my kids, They're going to make me choose between them and my kids. I'm going to choose my kids every time. And that was pretty much the reason why none of them worked out, Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna lie. It took me probably about 5 years after the fact to get over it. If I'd be honest with you, it did devastate me, I mean, it devastated me, not just, her walking out on me, but walking out on my kids, kids not knowing their mom and stuff. And even today, now, like I said, it's been over 25 years, and now she's trying to get a hold of them, but they're just ignoring her text and stuff. They don't want to talk to her. And that has nothing to do with me, because she even tried to contact me. I said, look, I ain't never badmouthed you. I ain't never said nothing to him. I don't believe in that, I always believe in let them make their own decisions when the time comes. I want them to talk to you. That way you can tell them your reason, and then they can decide on their own how they feel. You know what I mean? But, it's to the point now. And those are the only children she got. She don't got no other children. She can't have no other children. Even her parents, those are the only grandkids. They'll never have any other grandkids or anything. But her parents, they kept in touch. They keep in touch. They're good people. But, yeah, karma. I think it's starting to hit her now, because they're at an age now where they can get married, have babies, And she's a lot older now, so I think it's really hitting. But ain't got nothing to do with me anymore. You know what I mean? I'm out the picture now. I got nothing to do with her, man. I'm good. That's like one hump I had to get over in life, and I finally did it, Yeah, see, I didn't never wanted to do that, RJ. You know what I mean? That's something I never wanted to do, Because, even when we were together, she was always there for me. You know what I mean? She was a partner, you know what I mean? When it comes to loyalty, as far as partners go, you know what I mean? Making things work. But as far as love, I think she loved me, but I just don't think she was in love with me. You know what I mean? I think, like I said, I think it was just all about infatuation back then. I was young, healthy, and sexy back then. You know what I mean? In my 20s. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean, Miss Lily. That's why I always tell the kids, hear her side, Talk to her, just hear her story out, Hear why she did what she did, And then a lot of people ask me how come I'm not mad at her, you know what I mean? When she left the kids. She knew the kids were safe with me. You know what I mean? I felt like she knew the kids were safe with me, that I would take care of them, And she knew she wasn't going to be capable to take care of him on her own. Because obviously when she did that, her parents, everybody, her family, they all abandoned her. You know, nobody was going to support her. You know what I mean? So to be honest with you, until the last, I say this last 5 years, she's never had her own place or nothing. I mean, she's just been bouncing around. So, you know, I tell people, you know, I'm not mad at her, you know, leaving the kids, because she knew they were safe. She knew I would protect them. She knew my family was there. So, you know what I mean? And I expressed that to the kids too, you know what I mean? Thank you, Six. I tell you, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I tell you what, don't nobody respect single moms more than me. Cause I know what it's like. And then not to make us different, but you know, even working single moms, you know, a woman's job, you know, me as a man, I was working construction, and and like I said, out here, you got to drive an hour one way just to get to work. So I was doing 12 hour days. And my mom would watch the kids, you know, daycare, and then my mom would watch them. And then I would have to come get the kids, take them home, feed them, bathe them, and then I would always spend time with them, always, 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 always. You know, whether it was watching a show or wrestling or talking or something, you know what I mean? I would always spend time with them, you know? Yeah, Miss Lily, you know what? Talking about RJ and your dad, you know, I got another life experience for you, RJ. You know, my dad, remember when I said I left Philly at 15, but I was leaving my dad too, you know what I mean? Because my mom already left. Her and my sisters, they were down in Florida. And I was leaving my dad because he did a lot of, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. He did a lot of evil things to my mom and to other people. I just make this quick. My dad, if you know what America's Most Wanted was, my dad was on America's Most Wanted. Just to give you an idea. My dad, he was crazy, man. My dad was crazy. And yeah, my mom ended up turning him in. She didn't even get the reward. I think it was like $25,000 reward. She didn't even get the reward. She just out of spite, you know, because of everything that he did. But you know, like I said, I was 15. And you know, and that's when he was a big, grown, strong man, you know what I mean? And then obviously he got old, brittle, small guy, you know, it's, you know, when you get them big men and then they just shrink and they get all old, you know, they just fall apart. You know, he got old, he got sick, he was dying of cancer. He had cancer in the stomach. And I never spoke to him since I left that day, you know what I mean? Never. And I guess towards the end, he was in the hospital, and then just to give you an idea how crazy, you know, I got 27 brothers and sisters. With my mother, I only got 3 sisters. That's all different women, just to give you an idea how out there he was. But the brothers and sisters that I had up there, they kept trying to get a hold of me. They kept saying, you know, he wanted to talk to me. And what it was he was on his deathbed, and all he wanted was my forgiveness. But I couldn't do it, you know what I mean? I just couldn't do it. And then not even an hour or two later, he ended up dying on his deathbed, you know what I mean? And I didn't do it. I didn't talk to him. I didn't give him his, you know, and I should have did it. You know, now I do regret that, Frank. You know, I wish I would have picked up the phone, called him, you know, and forgave him. Not for what he did, because obviously what he did was wrong to everybody. But, you know, to help him with his conscience while he was passing, and also to help me, how you say, with closure, you know what I'm saying? Because now I live with that every day, thinking about that, because, you know, he was my dad, you know? That's why when my mom and sisters left to Florida to get away from him, I stayed there, because I wanted to be with my dad, you know what I mean? As a boy, even though he was doing all that crazy stuff, you know, it was, as a boy, you know, he was being a man, you know, to us in our eyes, you know, and he's a tough guy, you know, and that's what I wanted to be around, you know what I mean? And, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I love my dad, you know? But, y'all go get my menopause going, you know? But, yeah, he's gone now. Yeah. But, yeah, everybody's gone now. Mom, dad, my grandma, my granny, everybody. You know, I'm the oldest in the family right now. I'm only 52 years old. And what does that make me? What they call that word? Patriarch? I'm the oldest. So you know what that means, right, y'all? I'm next. I'm next in line. And with my family, they was all, man, cancer took most of them, man. My dad, my mom, my grandma, my granny, my sister. My oldest sister passed away at 24 years old. She had leukemia. She fought that for a whole year. But it was like there's different types of leukemia. She had the worst one. And it's the one, like, even after she passed, it was still eating at her. Like, it would eat at the skin and stuff. Like, she had to have a closed casket, you know what I mean? It was pretty bad leukemia. And when she passed at 24 years old, she had a baby girl. Baby girl was 2 years old when she passed. My mama raised her. How you doing, Raw Dog? Yeah. Hey, demonic. I'm gonna tell you what, Miss Lily, my goal is to make it to 100. I'm gonna make it to 100 just so I can throw it in people's faces. I'll make it to 100. I'm gonna throw it in everybody's faces. I'm 100 years old. You know, who knows? Raw Dog, I'm in Central Florida. Central Florida. Yeah. I hope 6. I hope. That'd be something, wouldn't it? You never know. No, you never know, Miss Lily. But I'm gonna give it everything I got, though. We're gonna do this. And I'll tell you what, this has been a good morning, man. I appreciate all y'all. You know, I try to tell people, when I do the lives, it's not obviously I want to grow my channel, so I'm looking forward to all y'all subscribed out there. Hope y'all subscribe and hit the like. I am trying to grow the channel, but to be honest, this is like therapy. I get to talk, even if nobody gets on in my lives, I steady talk. It helps me get a lot off my chest and a lot of that weight off my shoulders for the day, you know what I mean? And helps me keep pushing, That's a problem with a lot of us, especially men, we keep everything inside, because I ain't gonna lie, I don't talk like this to family or friends. Not saying you guys ain't friends. I love you guys. But, in person, I just don't do it, Red glue gun, blue glue gun, blue glue gun. I can't do it. Who is that? Anonymous. Anonymous messing with me. We got another joker in the lobby. I can't do it. Sometimes I sit back, Anonymous, and I listen to myself when I talk, how I mumble and I slur some words and stuff. I think I said this one time before. When I first ever watched myself or heard myself on a video, I was freaked out. You know what I mean? I was freaked out. I looked at my daughters. I was like, is that what I sound like? Do I really sound like that? Because honestly, when I listen to myself and I sit back and I watch, to me, I sound like an old black guy from the hood. You know what I mean? That's what I sound like. Not that there's anything wrong with old black guys from the hood. I'm just saying to me, that's what I sound like. You know what I mean? And that's just culture, I grew up in it, And I guess it just stuck with me. Even though I tried to grow up down here in Florida for the longest, I've been down here now straight, probably like 37 years I've been down here straight, Oh, of course, RJ, of course. I love God, man. And ever since I started doing this weight loss journey and getting cleaned up as far as eating healthy and exercising, doing that, man, it feels like I've been coming closer and closer, I've been trying to, Yeah, I can't say it. Yeah, RJ. I'm an Irish Puerto Rican. My dad, he was Puerto Rican. Yeah. Yeah, I speak Spanish, dance Spanish, cook Spanish, and I love Spanish. Yeah. Cape Town, yeah. Yeah, I was like my dad. He was over here. He come over here, in 67, and he was here forever. And even to the day he died, he still sound like Tony Montana when he died, if you know what I'm talking about. Gen X, y'all know what I'm talking about. He still sounded like that. You know, that's why I always thought my dad was cool. You know, I guess we all do growing up, you know. But I don't know. We did some weird things, you know, things, I guess, crazy things, you know. But, you know, back then it was, you know, people think today's worse. That's nothing today, these kids. You know, back then, the mafia, the mob, all that stuff was real, you know what I mean? And they were active out in the streets, you know what I mean? I remember as a kid in Philly, the Italians, they had this barber shop and had like an alleyway on the side of it. So they would always pull around the back and they would always meet out back. And hello. And sometimes you see limousines going back there and stuff. You know, they'd always meet in the back. So we knew it was the Italians, right? The mob. So, and there was always big guys in there, right? So when it snowed during the winter, we used to always get snowballs and we'd always throw them at the windows. And then big old Italian guys used to come out and chase us. It was crazy. I ain't gonna lie, it was fun, man. It was fun growing up. It was fun back then. Even with all the craziness and the dangers, I don't know, it was fun, you know? It was fun. Yeah, nah, Bloods and Crips, that's all that new gen. Well, not really new. I say that hit hard like in the 90s, started hitting harder in the 90s, 2000s. Yeah, I've been through all that too. Yeah, Rex Young guy. Yeah. Let me tell you, this economy's crazy. Yo, let me tell you what, talking about the economy, Anonymous, like I was saying earlier, we had to drive an hour away to get to go get my new tires. My son was buying me some tires. I say new, but you know, the guy bought a brand new truck and you know, these people down here, these rednecks, they get brand new trucks and they'll take it straight to the shop and get it lifted and put big old wheels on it. So he took the stock wheels off, brand new, right off the lot. And 20-inch wheels, so, and mine needed them bad. And he sold them to us for $300. So we drove an hour away to go get them. And we had to go through a lot of small towns. And my town is really small. Then we went through this one little bitty town and hit the gas station. Jesus Christ. And there was a lot of people in there. And I think I embarrassed my son because I was loud. I was like, holy crap. I was yelling. I was like, and he was like, what happened? I was like, look at the prices. For a small bag of chips. And y'all know them bags be full of air. Half the bag full of air, right? And I ain't talking about a regular sized bag of chips. I'm talking about a small bag of chips. And half of it full of air. $6. Yo, you should have heard me in there. Everybody was staring at me. They thought I was just freaking out. And then the drink. Now, let me tell you what. This is something that did get me and sort of upset me in a way. You know the 99 cents teas, was it Arizona? They never changed their prices. They always kept them at 99 cents. You know, and they say 99 cents. They had them in there, all of them in there. They had a full stock, but they had the sign in front of them for $2.48. How's the thing gonna say 99 cents on the can and they're gonna sell them for $2.48? Come on. That place was crazy. It was like being in another world or something over there. And that was country. That was like lake country. But man, it was packed. They were doing a lot of business. But the gas was cheap. The gas was $2.77 for regular. I mean, that was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was freaked out. I could not believe it. Bag of chips and the candy bars were like $3. I was like, yo. I told my son, I said, why'd you stop here, man? We should have went to the dollar store or something. But man, you can't even go to the dollar store no more. Right? They need to change the name. It ain't nothing a dollar. There ain't nothing for a dollar. That's crazy, man. This poor world today. You know, I'm Gen X. You know, we learn how to survive on nothing, on cheese and crackers. So we know how to survive, but this generations today, I'd say these last two generations, man, God help them. That's like my kids, and when I get some grandkids, oh man, God bless them. They're gonna need all the help they can get. They're gonna need some help. It's crazy. Yeah, that's something. Oh, spam. You know, I seen this one kid. He's a Puerto Rican kid, right? Speaking of Spanish, I forgot who asked me if I was Latin. But there's this one kid I watch. He's Puerto Rican. He's a young kid. You know, he's young, and he's talking, and he always tries to talk about. He tries to represent Puerto Ricans. All right. Now, mind you, when I grew up in Philly, that was my dad's family, nothing but Puerto Ricans, and they didn't speak no English. I mean, we ate rice and beans every day. I mean, I couldn't do it no more. It got to a point where I was done. And but he used to say like what broke Puerto Ricans eat when they're broke and stuff like that. And then he'd throw eggs and stuff like that. I'm like, man, that's rich people food. What are you talking about, broke people? Broke Puerto Ricans, what we did, if y'all out there Spanish and y'all know, especially Puerto Ricans, because the word is used differently in different languages. I mean, in different cultures, Spanish cultures, but they're called tortas. And not Mexican tortas, they're Puerto Rican. All it is flour, water, salt, pepper, and some adobo and sazon. You just mix it up and make like little pancakes in the frying pan. And that's what we ate. That was our broke. You know, that's what we ate. And then whatever rice was left over from the night before, like me growing up, shoot, we had a box of cereal in the house. We were lucky. And we'd all wake up earlier than the rest of each other just to get down there and get the bowl before it ran out. But mostly our cereal growing up was rice. And if you know, you know, white rice in a bowl, milk, sugar, cinnamon, stir it up. That was breakfast. That was our breakfast. Man, broke. These kids today don't know nothing, man. Our first house when we left Michigan and went to Philly, I'll never forget. I think I was 4 years old when we went over there. I'll never forget. It was an abandoned house. It was abandoned. I'm talking about abandoned. Brick house in a row with row houses. Didn't have half the windows, was boarded up, no electricity, no nothing. That's what we stayed in for like our first couple months. These kids, man, today, they cracked me up. They got it hard. Man, and all this stuff I'm telling you, I never even told my kids. My kids don't know, man. You know, I mean, I never had a reason to tell them because they're pretty humble. You know, they grew up really humble, good hearts. And my big boy, he's bigger than me. He's a big boy. He's intimidated. He's a pretty big boy. And my younger one too. I mean, he's young and thin, but he's all muscle. But he's not as intimidating. Like I said, the big one, he's big and big. He's pretty intimidating. But they're humble kids, man. Big hearts, good kids, you know. And my younger one, he's lately, he's really, really been getting closer to God. He's 23. Lately, every day, that's all he's been talking about is the Bible and God. And yeah, I mean, it's sort of scary in a way. It's almost fanatical, you know what I mean? The way he talks about God and stuff. You know what I mean, I'm happy that he's, he wants to learn and get closer. I just don't want him to, go over the top, fall over. You hungry, Miss Lily? Yeah. Lately, I've been doing 6 scrambled eggs and 1 chicken breast per meal, and I've been eating 2 meals. And then I got like apples and bananas for like a snack I've been doing. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to put on muscle, especially up in my chest area. Someone told me, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. They were like, man, you're losing weight, a lot of weight. Your legs are looking skinny. I was like, well, I don't want my legs to look skinny. You know? That's the worst thing, to be big on top and have little bitty legs. Oh, man, there go the lights. They done shut the lights off on us. All right, people. I don't know if you can see me. They done killed the lights on us. All right, hey. Texas is a country or state. Texas is a state, but they feel like they're a country. They're their own country. In Philly, any gay guys? Man, there's gay guys everywhere, RJ. There's gay guys everywhere. My nephew lives up there. He's gay. And not to make fun of him, God bless him, but he just found out he got, what do you call that? AIDS? Is that what it's called? Yeah, he just found out. Poor kid. I think he's like in his mid-20s. But he's a good kid, but he's wild, you know what I mean? You know, like I say, whatever you are, that's you. But, you know, you just got to act good, you know? You got to be good with God and you got to act accordingly, you know what I mean? But, you know, he was wild child, you know, and just found out he got AIDS. Is that what it's called? AIDS? Positive? Yeah. But I appreciate all y'all. Miss Lily from Texas. Miss Lily, you live in the country of Texas. I got family over there in San Antonio and Houston. I got family in Texas. All right, people, don't forget to like and subscribe. I need y'all. And then maybe we'll do this again tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll do this every morning about the same time. Y'all take care, and I love you. God bless you. Man, I hope all y'all have a great Monday. And thanks for listening, really. From the bottom of my heart, thanks for listening. This really made my day, you know. It really helped out a lot. I appreciate every single one of you. All right, good night, or good morning. It's so dark outside, I gotta say good night. All right, people, later.